Hi everyone, this is Mary Flower, and I start out this way because sometimes I have to make sure that the camera is horizontal when I begin this, and so that's probably why I jostled around. But anyway, what we're doing is this is the third or fourth part, I think the fourth part, to the tutorial for the miniature whimsical crazy journal that's like this. And if you haven't seen my video just on this, go back and look at that, and then start at part one on this so you'll know how to make a miniature of this. And this has all the crazy colors and fun things, and we worked on the cover up to now, and now we're going to start working on the pages to go in and how we work with them. Now, I'm hoping to get this on by the time my videos come out, but you can get a download, and I will have 5-page download of all the signatures of these pages that we're working on right here. And I will show you how to use these. They're pretty simple. It's probably best to make like 3 copies of the same thing, 3 or 4 copies or more, for depending on what you need. Then when you cut them out, you'll notice they're in different colors, so make sure you print it out in these colors. Then when you print them out, you'll get, I suggest you just take plain old colored paper, not the pages that we're going to be working on here, but just plain paper, so you can get each page and put it in order first. Now, what it does, and then you write on them. So this is the third signature. This is the middle section, the second section, which is B, and the third section, which is C, and it'll have right and left for you. And the reason I do this is because I keep referring back to these pieces. I even number on the outside, if you can see. And you don't have to make them the same color as what you have for your initial pieces. Then if you want to make a second book, you already have that. Now, I'm going to show you, this is entirely different. Well, not different. When you sew pages into a regular book that are all the same size square, it's easier. This takes a little bit of thought, and I'm going to show you some tricks. I've taken each section like this and taken and cut it out of my jelly plate printing papers, hand-painted papers, that kind of thing. These are some samples. And be sure to keep all your pieces, because you're going to be using those as well, because these are fun. They're on watercolor, and go back and see that. Now, this is section 2, this is section 3, and this is section 4. And I've already done part of this so we can speed up. Now, the main thing that you need to do on here is, before you sew them into the book itself, bind them into there, you're going to have to basically see, you don't want to have things below the book. Let me show you. If you put it in here, see, you don't want it below, things hanging out down here. And I suggest, because these pages are so odd, you have to put first a simple, like a pre-binding of each signature before you even put them in the book. And what I do, if you'll notice, I have one here and one here, so it doesn't flop around, and the pages don't flop around as you're putting it in there, because it's going to be a little awkward. So I suggest you take your needle and thread, a single, you don't have to double it, and then also take your piercer and pierce 2 pieces there. And this has nothing to do with how you're binding it on there. You just need to tie it together so these pages don't jostle around. And I've done that with section 4 section 3, if you'll notice here and here, to keep these pages together. And you'll notice everything here. Now, for instance, you don't want the center down here, this piece down here, because then this would put it down here, and you don't want to do that. You want it when it's closed, so it goes to the bottom there. So nothing hangs below, only to the side and to the top. And the reason you want it this way, or if you want it differently, that's up to you. But the reason it's good to have it this way is because when you're done, you can set it up like a piece of art. And so this is section 3. Then section 2 was a little more tricky, because this piece here is down here. See, even though I have this isn't going to go below. Let me show you. When you close it, you're still going to put it like this. Do you see it doesn't go below? Right there. And so you still want to tie in this piece, even though it's thinner than these pieces. You still want to tie it in to keep it from moving around. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And don't worry about this part. That I showed you that yesterday. But if you'll notice, it looks like it comes down here, but in reality, you're going to sew it in so that this part, nothing comes below, only to the side and only to the top. So that's section 2. Now together, we'll work on section 1, just to show you. These are all my pieces for section 1. And yesterday when I was painting around here and showed you how I used some of the paint on some like this middle pieces. Now some of these, this one has a couple little umbrellas to it, and I'll show you how those work. But this is the center piece, middle piece, and outer piece. And so I don't want it to go below. See that right there? I don't want it anything to go so it's hanging out the bottom. So I kind of want it about like this, so that when it's closed, the same thing, it's only going to come to here. Does that make sense? I hope so. So what I'm going to do is, if it was a piece that was skinny like that, then you wouldn't have to worry about it being down there. But anything, you just don't want to make sure nothing hangs out on the bottom. So I put those together like that. And I'm going to clip this in 2 places while I'm doing this simple, simple holding together thing. And so I'm just going to, and this can be just random, 2 places there and 2 places here. And make sure it catches everything on this side. So then you want just a single string on this, and you're going to go from the outside, and then you're going to tie this together. Just tie it in a knot, and this is just to secure the pages. And you'll be glad you did this, because these things jostle around a lot. And it's difficult to put these in a place to secure all of them. Then you have the upper piece right here. Right here. And go back through. Then you tie it. So you're basically securing all the pages in a couple spots. You only want it, don't make it more a ½ inch apart or less. I say 3/4 of an inch, these little things. So I'm going to put that right there. So now I can take these clips off, and these pages are held, these will be used later, are held together like that. So now I have all 4 sections, but you're not going to put it in like this. You're going to put in 1 section at a time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're going to go in like that. And let me take this back off, and I'll show you kind of what it's going to look like. And this won't be the only color. We're going to be adding a lot more things. So if you put those in together, you can see how fun this is going to be. But we're going to add more things on this that stick out different ways, and pockets and all sorts of things. So that's what you're going to do. Now, you do have to have holes in this to work with, though. So if you take a graph paper and try to get the binding somewhat even, I put it here in the middle, and here, and I like my little sponge block, and I like to probably going to have to, and then I love this. It's a binding kit. You can get them at Walmart for about $15, and I'll tell you, it has been so useful to me. It's worth buying. I'll show you kind of what comes with the kit real quick here. So you can see I've did the holes for the binding. So we're going to do this. You want to keep this thing because you'll have to use it for your other pages. But real quick with the binding, it comes with a magnetic little ruler and some other little items. I don't use them as much, but I use this and these an awful lot. So I'll leave that out. And it comes with good, I think, some big needles with it too. So I always start with the back signature because I just like to work from back to front. So this is section 4, signature 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it, and you'll notice this has, I have to do each one individually like this. And so I'm going to take a pencil right here, and I'm going to mark these spots right here, because that's way I want it to go in. If you close it, you'll see how you'll want to have it in there. So I've marked the same spots to correspond with these. So then I take it, and this is pretty close to this other hole right there. I probably just used that same hole there. So I puncture those little spots. Then I use my good needle. You need a really good needle. And I want to double these. This, you know, when I bind, I like to have double the thread on this. So I'm a little blind. I always have to wear glasses when I'm making these things. I actually see better than when I was 6 years old. But I had my eyes. Don't tie a knot. I had laser surgery about 10 years ago, and I see better today than I did then. And so you're going to start with. You're going to go down the middle one, and the middle one on here to the back. You're going to leave a little piece like that. Then you're going to bind it on this side. Come on, don't catch. Where's the hole? Oh, there it is. Okay. Then you're going to go back. You can just watch. Go back down this one again. And you kind of have to watch this this string, because you have to keep it tight, because you don't want it to, you know, and so I kind of hang on to this piece as I'm doing it like that. You have that long enough to do that. And then I hope you can see it. I hope I'm not see what I'm doing. So there you go. That's tied in the last section. I like to go through that one and then tie it. So it made it pretty easy. Now, if you hadn't done those tying of the pages together, this is, I can promise you, a lot harder. It's very difficult to do. It's crazy. I've had to do it, and I've found that this is a much simpler way. So, okay, now, so there is section 4 already. So in the next section we're going to do, and I do like to tie these back to keep them out of, just to keep them out of the way, like that. So then we go over to section 3, and as you can see, I've tied them together. Now I'm going to hold it up to this area right there and mark it, because I want this to be right over here at this end, if you can see. And use a pencil, because you can always erase if you need, but by the time you're done, you're not going to even notice this. Because you're going to put so much color, you're hardly going to see those little marks. Then I'm going to, again, get more string. And I make it, if I waste some, I don't really care. It's better to get it too long. So I'm going to start in the middle again, like so. Then always keep pulling it tight. And I'd rather have a really long piece here when I'm working with it, because then I can keep it back. Then here's your 2 pieces. You want to go through this to hold it. It is way better if you go through the other side like that with the needle, because it just ties it off better. Then, so there's section 3 and 4, and so you can see how fun it's going to be. And you want to take this off and clip this section back as best as you can. Oh, ignore that. Then we're going to start with section 2. And now keep in mind, you don't, right here, you still don't want anything to go down below the bottom. See, there's the bottom of the book. And make sure you don't bind this upside down. And you may even want to put in this when you're done binding if you're worried. But there we go. I want to put it about like that. So, okay. Then I make my 3 holes. Enjoying the little kittens. You may have seen my simple video that I put on with the kittens. And what's really sad is we thought there was only 4, and in the middle of the night she had one more, and it was a stillborn. And so if you see my other video just last night, I think it was, a cute mommy and everything, and I'll probably put another update on that. But I feel sad because she lost one and I didn't know about it. Okay, start with the middle. Keep a long enough piece here to work with. it's hard to look at it and show you at the same time. I'm really sorry. I'm doing my best here. Okay. And back down through here again. And these smaller books are actually easier to bind because you only have 3 holes. On my bigger one, you use 5 to 7 depending on the size, and so these are going to be a lot more simple. So here it is like this. You want to go through here. Oops, caught. And that's the other thing, is you're going to find it kind of catching on things sometimes. So, and tie it twice at least. And I leave about, about 2 inches, because if I want to, I can add something fun to that. So there is my 3 signatures in there. See that? Crazy fun, huh? See? Crazy fun. Then I'm going to take the 3rd one, and we're going to put it in here. Now remember to don't go any farther over here, okay? So I put it at the bottom. That's where I measure from, is the bottom. And then turn it over. Now, after you do the one I show you, then if you feel good enough to make more that are, even crazier. But I'm going to do more of these, so, I'll probably put on more than one set of patterns for you. And I know it only showed 4 pages there for all the signatures. I've got another surprise download on the 4th one, and I've got to get that together. It will be letters and words and other fun little things. So, and it's better to get too much string, have it too long, than to have it too short, because you don't want to do that. Okay, you want to start in, move all this stuff out of the way, in the middle. I hope I'm keeping this in the camera here. Okay. And keep it tight. So there you go. So now you have all the pages in, and make sure that you do a lot of the, pre-ink it, because at this stage it's really difficult to ink it afterwards. You want to do that before, so please watch my previous videos before you get to this point. But look how fun this is going to be already. Now we've just begun, but at this point you have all your pages in here, and you have really fun pages. This one folds out. You can have it fold this way or the other way. And you also have this one. So you have several fold out. But even though I only have 3 fold out, we can do more. But this is fun. So I hope you enjoyed that, because we're at this point. But there is going to be a couple more videos on this that will help you add really fun things, and we're going to put in the little umbrellas in section or signature 1. So I hope you enjoyed that, and give me a thumbs up, and you're welcome to watch these videos as many times as you want, but always give me a thumbs up. And I love comments. I always try to talk with people because I just love people. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.